the Giggities podcast, which we're going to start now calling the roundtable, as we got a lot of the drivers and we're going to get a lot of team captains in here. We're going to try and get as much information out to our fans as possible. We're going to start discussing previous races, results, finishes, how things are going there as we head into these playoffs. As a matter of fact, we got a playoff series starting tonight with the Cup Series. We're going to try to preview the upcoming races for you throughout the week. We're going to talk about news, highlights, everything. And we've got some really good guests in the booth today. We've got NoCo, we've got Robbie Vids, we've got MP Roofer, we've got Maddie. We've got a lot of good people in here, so we're going to get you as much information as possible, and it's probably going to be about a fun little hour that we start having nowadays. So we're going to start you off with the points updates from how everything's shaking up and in this next week in these playoffs, and it's going to be tough. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stiff competition throughout these leagues. The customs has been fun to watch. I'm excited. What about you guys?
Just got a lot going on. I think it's going to be, these playoffs are intense, man. You got it's even more intense than it was last season. I mean, to be honest with you, like you said, you talked about it. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to gain points out on the track, and you know that 1 point could make or break you.
Well, and we saw that points really can add up with Jake missing this last week. The guys were allowed to gain a lot of ground back on him, whereas he went into the race with almost a 200-point lead. Missing both races, being sick. I mean, that really closed up that points gap there, heading towards these later races.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Unfortunately, he was sick and had to take a night off, which, everybody has personal problems and everything, or, gets sick. And, but luckily Jake has done such a superb job all year that he could kind of afford to take, a couple races off, and still I think has around a 100-point lead. He's just been really, really strong this year.
Definitely.
Well, NoCo, how's he come along as a driver for you? Because I know that he's been really surprising everybody throughout the league as fast as he's come up to the top.
He's just, he puts the work in, man. He's a lot like me and figuring things out. And he's a really good driver. He's the type of guy that you tell him something and he's going to try to apply it to himself. And that's the kind of driver you really want on your team, is a driver that's really open-minded, willing to try some other things, and and if he can help you out in return, I mean that's even better.
Oh, that's normally the chemistry that's involved in these great teams. I mean, you gotta look at the great teams that we've had over the decades. It's always been about the ones that had the best teammates that were always willing to help out. I mean, guys that are willing to hold stuff back from their teammates, it tends to hold the whole team back. So it's good that you guys have that chemistry over there.
Yeah, it's a really fun environment. We try to have fun, and I think we do a good job of that.
That's a big thing, man. Without, like NoCo said, we really try to keep the fun aspect in it. I mean, it's tough fighting for points. Every point matters here in the playoffs, but at the same time, we're all brothers. If something happens to any of us, we're all there to help our brothers out, and that's what makes Giggity special from any league that I've been a part of. It's truly special to be a part of a group like that.
Well, there's definitely a lot of brotherhood here at Giggity, and as you guys listen to a lot of our podcasts or our races and stuff like that, you hear a lot of the things that drivers do for other drivers and teams do for other teams. We never want to leave anybody behind, because once we leave one person behind in Giggity, it can drag down the whole league, which is something that we really strive for, and a lot of the leaders here that always push for, the team captains and stuff like that. So it's really awesome to see. I think today we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with the Dirt Series, and we're going to work our way through. We'll give everybody a highlight of the points and the preview of the race is about to come up in there. I know it's Bristol for us. It's going to be a big race. There's going to be a lot of drama involved, as always comes with Bristol, no matter what series you run.
Yeah. Taddy's actually our points leader. Actually just got the updated points. Just sent them to the broadcast chat. But yeah, Taddy he's got 462 points, and second has 396, which is He Who Blaze Then C-Dub in third, Archangel fourth, I'm fifth, Country Rebel sixth, Crispy seventh, Bone eighth, Kigo ninth, which he was only joined about half the season, and 10th, Mountain Dew. But we're starting to get some of these really top named dirt guys like Burkitty, Kigo. I mean, guys that are just really fast on dirt that have joined, and it's just become a really fun dirt series. You know, we started out with maybe 8 guys, you know, and now all these major dirt guys have seen what we got going on and said, hey, I want to be a part of that, and that's special, man.
Real quick on that dirt subject, man, if you guys haven't checked out one of these dirt races, these dirt races are some serious racing. There's a lot of good racing that goes on in those dirt races.
I know personally, I've been one of the guys that's really helped expand the dirt series, and
yep.
I've really liked seeing how it's come along from the guys that, you know, and I appreciate all the guys who were from Asphalt that come over and tried to start a dirt series. That was amazing to see you guys try to transition and want to learn, and to come over and to just to see somebody from Asphalt leading the points. That shows you that it doesn't take, you know, the best setups or anything like that. It takes good consistency and being willing to put yourself in the right positions at the right times. A lot of the times you see on dirt as well in asphalt, drivers will overdrive. They'll put themselves in negative situations, and that's where you have Taddy, even though it has been, you know, with Blaze missing a couple weeks due to problems at home with being able to schedule and stuff. Taddy has taken over that points lead, but irregardless, even if he was sitting second in points as an asphalt driver on dirt, that's just amazing to see, and I love it. I love racing in it. I love broadcasting it. I love everything about the dirt series. It's always action-packed, fun-filled, and it's never a disappointment when you guys watch one of them races.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No, it's honestly some of the best racing. You know, guys that ran dirt, you know, it's even with a lot of people have a lot of even setups. You know, it's kind of hard to get an advantage. You know, maybe a tenth or two, but if you kind of hold your line, dirt is some of the hardest to pass. You know, to get around the guy cleanly, and it just makes for fun racing. I love being a part of it.
I know I give a lot of you guys a hard time trying to get more of you guys over on dirt, you know, as you know, Noco, you're fast on asphalt, man, but I'd love to stick you behind the wheel of one of these late models and see how you compete with some of them guys.
Man, I don't know. It's that's good. That'll be a learning curve that I'm not sure I want to do right now. I imagine if I put the work in, you know, and actually really applied myself towards that, I probably could be pretty competitive on dirt. Maybe not like super fast, but maybe if I had a better understanding on how the cars function and how they were set up on the track, maybe I could do something. Default, I don't know, man. I suck. Dirt's just not my thing.
No, Carl, I'll join you on that because I've jumped over and done some of these dirt races with these guys. And Roofer, you actually just touched on it. You know, we started this dirt series with 8 guys. Now looking at it, there's like 25 guys in this series, so it's definitely grown. And I mean, doing a couple of them, Roofer, credit for sticking with it, but I'm with Noco, man. I'd rather stay on the asphalt. I get in that late model, and it's like, I forget what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, like, a lot of you guys look at it like this, and this is the biggest difference I've seen between jumping from asphalt to dirt, is that the asphalt sliders, you can at least run the car controllable and competitive. If you run a slider on dirt, you are running a second off of the leaders, minimum.
Yep.
Yeah, when you get them guys out there like Kigo, that they run dirt every day, Burkitty, some of them guys, man, it's tough, you know, and but you get to learn a lot from them guys that run dirt every day, and that's what they do. And it's actually cool to see a lot of these guys that's all they do is run dirt. They have actually joined our developmental series, and they want to learn how to race asphalt. So, I mean, we learn from them, and now they're trying to learn from us. So that's cool, I think.
That's pretty neat when you get the two different styles of racing. They try to work off of each other. It's always fun to see that.
As you're getting some you're heckling down there in the comments, Noco, from Christopher, which is pretty good to see. He says, turn left, go right. As we got actually on the background, we've actually got the fastest laps today for the daily leaderboard at Bristol. Looking at some of these times and some of these guys that are on this list, as you referenced Kigo Baseball, Mook Dude, Robbie Bobby, Name Untaken. All these guys are guys that have shown interest in running on asphalt. I know personally, Deadpool, obviously he's fast on asphalt. He's a good friend of a lot of you guys', a good friend of mine. It's a stacked field, and times are close. To win a race over there, it's a matter of inches, and just the slightest bit of advantage can make a huge thing over there. I know that there's a lot of guys looking forward to Tuesday's race, as well am I, and it's gonna be fun. I really wish that we'd get some more guys to check it out and just come over and play, man. You need some setups on dirt, I'll hand them to you, no problem, man. We'll get you running in a car that'll feel a lot better than one of them presets. I guarantee you that.
And like I said, it is fun. It does get fun.
Well, you can rub on dirt like you can on asphalt. I mean, you can touch somebody and not send them into the wall, and it's so much fun when you can go in there and play bumper cars with one of your buddies and not crash somebody's car. Man, it's awesome.
Thing is, that's the same way for you though too. If you guys need any help from dirt to asphalt, we're here to help as well.
Well, and I've highlighted that too. I mean, I'll never take anything away from anybody, dude, but Noko honestly helped me at Canadian Tire so much. He helped me pick up almost 3 seconds. And we tested together for maybe like 4 or 5 hours. You just sat in the chat. You never even got on the track. It was just verbal communication and help, man. And I still thank you for that, and that shows the level of respect of each other in this league.
Well, Art, didn't you know he's God? Come on.
No.
Well,
Definitely
I know that there's
not.
a dirt god. There's a dirt god, and that dude's Too Slow Charlie. So I'm trying to figure out who the asphalt god is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go no-co with that one.
I'm trying, guys. I'm still perfecting my craft. There's still a lot of learning I have to do, and eventually, I mean, I'd like to be up there in the talks as one of the top guys in the game. But for now, I'm just trying to get better and just like I said, perfect my craft. And I mean, if you could run a mistake-free race, man, it makes you look faster, than what you think. Like if you make no mistakes in a race, you will gain that time on someone. Rather when you make a mistake, you lose time obviously, or you get past. And if you can run a mistake-free race, you're going to look fast.
Definitely, and that's the thing about it. Like I pointed out with Taddy, dude does not ever run a top 3, top 5 fast time. But you know what? He finishes top 5, top 3 every race. Yeah. That's where it comes into play. If you're here to win a championship, there's ways to do it without winning. As you look in the truck series, as Matt Crafton never won a race this year, but still managed to take home a championship. That's just amazing stories right there.
Yeah, consistency is huge, man. I'm the same way, like Teddy. I think the best qualifying I had all year was like second at Daytona, and honestly, being on the outside, I wish I would have been dead last. But I concentrate more on like a long run setup, you know what I'm saying, and just try to be consistent, But there are certain guys that are really good at qualifying and racing. I just haven't figured out that qualifying part myself, but consistency is just huge. And like y'all said, getting on and off pit road, things like that, that's what makes you a top guy on this game. There's some people like Noko that have perfected this craft.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's perfected the asphalt side, but we're gonna sit here and look at what Blakey T's over here talking about, because he's saying he's the asphalt god, trying to heckle on old Noko over here and have some fun.
Maybe on default he's pretty good, but I don't see him in any customs. So come talk to me when you can know how to build a custom car.
And shots are returned as we go through there. All right, guys, we're gonna step away from the dirt series now. We're gonna actually move on to the Friday developmental series, where as we were talking and highlighting, a lot of the dirt guys are coming over, but there's also a lot of talent that's coming through this developmental series.
Oh, absolutely. We got a pipeline of guys, man. It's ridiculous.
How many trucks started last week? What, 30?
25.
30. Yeah, we've had 30. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was 25 that got all together that race.
I mean, that's a huge field to pull together, especially for a development series and not just a series that everybody's already been running. It's somewhere you have to prove yourself and earn your position. To see that many guys wanting to earn their position in this series shows just how far this league has come, and it's awesome to see all that talent out there.
Yeah, me and Ed, we kind of like announce it, you know, and like Robbie, this week he ran with them just because he's got a new team next year with Shin Motorsports, and he's wanting, you know, scout out talent, so no better way to scout out talent than be out there on the track with them. And some of the best racing I've seen and some of the more talented guys that we're having come into this league are coming through the developmental series right now, and it's a great place to prove yourself, and so we know where to put you, Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup, and there's really all three different levels that run in the developmental races. It's just like Bad Moon Rising, for example. I don't think not too many people knew who she was. Very first race, all of a sudden everyone was like, wait, who is this? Because she come out there and finished third. And now we found out, you know, 16-year-old female out there that just running her heart out, and just really impressive, man.
Right.
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, she showed out on dirt, too. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know who she was. Never even heard of her. Didn't even know she was a part of the league. And all of a sudden, we were running Taggart right before the holidays, and she wound up finishing right in front of me. She battled me out the last 10 laps, and she wound up getting the better of me. And it was awesome to find out the backstory to go along with the driver. And as we were actually talking about Robbie Vids, I'm pretty sure, isn't he the one that took home the win in the developmental series this last Friday?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He did a really good job. So Shadow Grim, he just ran out of gas there at the end, and he ended up, I think, finishing. Where did you finish, Shadow? Like the third or fourth?
I finished
Hey, that's tough, man. When you know you got a good car and the only thing that's stopping you is fuel. I mean, that is such a killer. That is a huge momentum killer in a race. When you know you got what it takes to be up there. It's just you just didn't hit the strategy right. And that's killer in a race, man. It just kills it.
Yes.
I can feel you. I feel for you on that one, Shadow.
I'll say that's the best piece of truck I've had in Giggity. That thing was just a rail.
And you said you did quite a bit of practice, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I had
practice that pays off.
I think I had roughly about 150 laps, roughly that whole race in practice. Mostly on my new wheel since I just got it. So.
Well, that's a testament to how well you're doing and how much work you're putting in, because you're not just getting a new wheel and just expecting to go out fast. No, you're getting a new wheel and you're going out and making yourself fast, and that's where you're going to be successful. Is that you're not just expecting the equipment to do it for you. You're having to put in the time as a driver to earn that speed.
The thing is, the same thing is, like we say, I'm not going to take all the credit for it either. I'm going to thank Roofer here. I'm going to thank everybody in Giggity in general wise. I mean, again, like Roofer said in the broadcast, I said I was going to throw this wheel out and just get back to controller. But no, I didn't quit. I got help from you guys.
Yeah, exactly, man. What my biggest thing was transitioning from a controller over to a wheel. I've been on a wheel now a year, and I've gone back and forth with it. The biggest thing was working on when you're playing on a wheel is you just have to stick with it, and a lot of it comes down to just your settings. If you don't have your settings right, comfortable for what you like, I mean, it ruins the whole experience.
Exactly.
Most definitely. I hear a lot of people, when they get a wheel, they come to me and be like, hey man, let me, what do you run, and I'll give them my settings, but I'll go ahead and warn them. I said, no, this fits my driving style. Your driving style might be totally different, so you might want to do this, you might want to do that, and some people kind of assume if you buy a wheel that you're just going to come out first race and just dominate, but that's not the case.
Not at all.
It's tough. It's extremely tough.
Right.
That's why I always told you, a wheel at Darlington. Go on that track on a wheel and then tell me how you think I feel out there.
Well, I have to tell you, as a controller guy, I can't wait to get
hard, but it's very rewarding.
Full feedback. I can't speak.
Force feedback, yeah.
Yeah, I can't speak.
No, when you're running a full force feedback at that track, that's suicide.
Yeah. Oh, Teddy found that out the very first night he got his wheel. He had his all the way up, and I think we were running Daytona, and he's like, man, my arms are just dead. And I was like, well, wherever's you running your force feedback? And he's like, well, always all the way up, of course. And I was like shaking my head thinking, no. Some tracks that might work, but like a 500 lapper at Daytona, you better have some toughness to you if you're going to have it all the way up, because you be working it. Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure you guys had the road course. I think it was Watkins Glen that you guys ran in that league that night too. So I mean, he didn't really choose two easy tracks to do it, but he definitely put two tracks that would put him to the test as a driver.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, Ted, he's putting the work in on the wheel, man. He's improving a lot. It's fun to see these guys get new steering wheels and stuff, and helping them learn on it, because I was once there, and it's tough. Like, certain guys can pick it up quicker than others. I mean, I'll tell you right now, it took me a couple months to actually get relatively even competitive against the AI on a wheel. So it's not easy, man. Especially if you don't have a background on a steering wheel in other games, it can be a lot harder for you. Especially if you haven't used the steering wheel, like let's say like on Gran Turismo, or maybe even the older NASCAR games. If you have no experience with the wheel, it can be tough.
Like NASCAR 2003 on the PC, that's where I got my experience. A lot of people race that game on the PC, but it's still, like you said, it's a whole new ball game. And
it's different. It's a different world for sure.
Yes.
I mean, for me, my experience, my first time doing on the wheel was at iRacing. Again, coming from iRacing to here, physics-wise, it's totally different. That's why I was running on a Ferrari wheel when I came back to it, and I couldn't run on it. I had issues because of the physics between the two games. It literally took me a whole other learning curve to try to get back in the field of racing again on a wheel.
Right. You don't have all them different wheel settings on iRacing. It's pretty much basic for everybody, and your setup is on iRacing's your main thing, But over here you have to, some people on different tracks run different settings for each different type of track. That's how complex the wheel is. For short tracks and road courses, you got to take your throttle sensitivity all the way down, and then other tracks you run more force feedback or more steering range or less steering range to save tires. I mean, it's not like a controller to where it's one size fits all kind of. It's like it's different for every different kind of track. So
absolutely.
I understand.
So touching on the developmental, how many races do we have left in the developmental series?
3. I think it's
3
Kentucky. Let me check real quick, guys. I actually have a picture of it, I believe.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to check the points out, actually.
And once we get done with the points, Shadow, if you don't mind, we'll see if we can get you and Robbie in here to talk about how that race was and some of the competition that you guys had in that race, some of the new drivers that you guys got to race around, and who gave you the most stiff competition as our up-and-comers.
All right, guys. The way we see the schedule right now, it's going to be Kentucky this Friday. Next Friday is going to be Kansas Xfinity, and then Homestead Cup for the next 3 weeks here.
Those are some
It's
good
a nice
tracks.
little schedule.
Those are some really good tracks right there.
You want good racing? That's where it's going to be.
I'll tell you right now, I mean, I'm not going to take no credit away from the other series, but I'm looking at now, I'm having a blast in development. Dude, the racing is so fun in there. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just been a blast.
I like to think of, so I look at the developmental series in a lot of ways. It correlates with how college football is. College football games are better because these kids are trying to get drafted in the NFL. They work harder and play harder, in those games. And then when you get to the NFL games, these guys are making tons of money and stuff. But that doesn't really correlate with our other series. But with the developmental series, you can take the factor of these guys in the developmental series. They want to get picked up by somebody. They want to be picked up by one of the captains. They want to be on a team. So they're trying to do whatever they can to be as clean, respectful, and fast as possible to show all the other captains, like, hey, man, I belong. I want a spot on your truck series, or, I want a spot maybe on your Xfinity series. It's definitely fun to watch.
It really is, man. And there's people that come in, we talked to some of the guys before the race, and just let them know kind of, you know, our expectations. And Noko, you would probably agree. I mean, we'd rather see you be clean and slow than fast and just tearing everybody up on the track. I mean,
Oh, dude, yeah.
100%.
And some of these guys,
Definitely.
I've heard people say, well, if anybody bumps me, I'm just going to take them out. And I'm like, do not do that, because the captains, you're not going to get drafted that way. You're not going to get picked up by a team that
No,
way.
I'd rather, you know, a good example is when I've spoken with drivers in private chats, I'd rather see a Prius out on the track than a dump truck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Captains are looking for people that are looking to show respect to get respect. That's pretty much what it is here. Everybody gives everybody the absolute highest amount of respect on the track. But
And it's
when you're trying to sign to a team or get signed to a team, you need to be at like a little bit of a higher standard, and a lot of these guys show that with the way they race and then in chats and everything like that. So I agree with you guys 100%. Development is just, it's full of a lot of good stuff.
Well, if you don't respect the drivers around you on the track, you're not going to respect the team leaders, and that's going to make bad team chemistry. It's going to be harder for you to learn, to understand what's going on, and to become a better driver. So the respect that we show each other on the track is huge.
And admins are always watching, always.
Always,
I mean,
yeah.
Watching or racing,
I'm
one of the two.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple times where we can say, you know, we'll go out in a development race, and all of a sudden in the chat it will be, hey, did you guys notice this guy? Yeah, we did. What you think? And then all of a sudden he could be signed that night, or he could be out of the league. Like,
Yep.
it's as simple as that. That's how we run it. It's really easy to run, though, when you have everybody looking for the same thing, and that's just like good, clean racing. That's what everybody wants.
And we just had an example of that this week. We had Kigo Baseball come in for the first time, run his first development race, and before the race was even over, he had a ride with Shin Motorsports, and Robbie Viz, the guy that actually won the race.
Yep.
That's awesome. We got 59 guys on our developmental points here that I'm looking. You know, that's a lot of guys. You know, so there's a lot of scouting that goes in. You know, which and that's what the captains are looking for. Like Robbie, you know, he probably knew that Kigo was, you know, really, really good on dirt, trying to learn. You know, but he was probably impressed with the way he was driving everybody out there. So Robbie, you know, probably picked him up just because he was impressed with how clean he was, not how fast he was. You know, it makes a big difference, like you said, with team chemistry.
Well,
right now, Noko is on a roll with his teams, but I think they have a chemistry that none of the other teams quite have, and that's why they're so tough.
Well, while we have Robbie here, go ahead, bud.
That's one thing I definitely want to touch on is, I mean, before anything else, I look for team chemistry. I want to put guys. I mean, because we have good guys, you know, in our group, and if you're a couple clicks off or whatever, that can be fixed. Character, on the other hand, sometimes can't be fixed, and having the right people in the right places and the right team chemistry, you know, the whole vibe of the team, you'd be surprised how much better things go and how much smoother you run on the track when you have guys you vibe with well, you know, that you become close friends with these guys, and that's been the case with our garage, man. We've all become really close with each other, and you know, we're going to touch on that a little later in this broadcast with one of my drivers and one of my good friends, A-Trout, and what he's going through right now. But that's something we're going to touch on later. But you guys are absolutely right. You got to have the team chemistry. I mean, all the pieces have to be put in place to have that championship caliber team. You know, I mean, and it just doesn't start with just one guy. It's from the truck guys all the way up to the cup guys, and all of my guys in my chat are very respectful, and we all interact with each other on a daily basis, and that really helps a lot. Like
100%. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yep.
I mean, the type of chemistry, the type of person you are says a lot about whether you'll make it or not. I mean, example, Noko, look at us, dude. Every time I race with you, I have a good time. I have the utmost respect for you, and even if we can get into a chat and just talk, it's fun, you know. And that's
the way it should be, you know.
That's the way it should be. Yeah, that's how I feel too.
I mean, everybody knows I'm a fierce competitor on the track, and But off the track, man, I leave that stuff aside. If something happens on track, I'm not the type of person to hold a grudge or, just be angry with somebody. It takes time, more times than others. We can mention the Darlington race. It took me a couple days to reach out back to RKM, but, that's just an example of, stuff can happen, and you can't let one race or, something on the track just ruin a friendship over that. I just think that's ridiculous, and it can just ruin your whole experience after that, because if you just hold this grudge on the track, then all you're going to do is you're going to ruin your race, and you're going to ruin that guy's race, and possibly cause even more conflict. So, it's always good that drivers get together after races if something happens, and they're not necessarily pointing fingers and stuff like that, but we're all here to have fun. That's the bottom line. And when issues happen on a track, things can happen. And we, as admins, we deal with intentional things that are happening accordingly, and accidental things, the same way. We deal with that stuff just the same. So, I do appreciate it, though, Maddie. I've always had fun with you, and I'm so thankful to be here. And
that's what me and Taddy were looking for when we kind of came up with this. Go out, have fun, and meet new people. I think you do gain, and like you said, we're going to touch on this at one point here in this show, but you gain a certain amount of friendship with certain people. Roofer, I'll throw him out there for example. Me and Roofer have been the last 3 seasons in Xfinity together, just always side by side. And I know, when I see that 00 on the track now, or 20, or whatever it was that he was driving, I knew I was going to get respect out of that one guy. And, me and Rupert talk on a friendship basis, so you gain friendships out of this league, which is something that's unlike any other, I feel. But it's something to brag about. It's something to brag about, I want to say.
Right. Well, that's the way it should be. When you have a lot of people that are selfless.
It's more of a brotherhood than it is a league.
Exactly.
When you have a league that is filled with selfless people, you have great results like this. It's when you have a league filled with selfish people is when things fall apart. And I've been a part of selfish leagues, and I can tell you now, they don't last.
Yeah.
Well, it all starts from the top. And that's been a prime example from you, Maddie, and K-Taddy, because you guys have always done that to your drivers, and it's passed down through that to your team leaders, your admins, and everything like that. And the fact that
me and Patty say that when we add people. Our first thing is come in with a good attitude, have fun. That's rule number 1 about the league: have fun.
Well, that's the thing. And you guys aren't afraid to lay down penalties. You guys aren't afraid to suspend drivers. You guys ain't afraid. You guys do a lot of things that other guys would be afraid of, and that's what a lot of drivers in your league do respect, is the fact that you guys will put the hammer down on anybody. I'm sorry. There's been mistakes that have been made by admins, drivers, and rookies. All the same.
I'm looking at the comments, and Money Mike, he sends you a shout out there, Maddie. It says, Maddie, it's fun to race with in the trucks.
Oh, yeah. I agree with the same as Money Mike. Like, every time I've raced with him, me and him have had really good races side by side. You gain respect from guys. Guys, a friendship happens, and it's fun. That's what it's all about, having fun.
Exactly. If you're not having fun,
then you don't need to be here.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Definitely is. So let's highlight the one big event that happened from this race besides Robbie winning. Robbie, what was it that made you pick up Kigo? What aspects of that driver made you sign him that day on the spot and not let another team get a chance at that type of driver?
Well, one of the main things was he gets on with a few drivers that's actually in my team already, touching on the team chemistry, which is always important. I would rather have a team that has a good chemistry than a team full of fast drivers, because like Noko said, you can always help and make drivers quicker, but team chemistry is something that you can't give or teach.
There's no setup guide for attitudes.
Oh no, and if you got a team full of fast competitive drivers, it don't matter if they don't get along, because it's just going to cause conflict on track, which is going to wind up hurting your team in the long run too.
Yeah, I'm not looking for fast drivers either. I'm looking for consistent drivers that don't quit and see the race to the end, because that can turn out to be beneficial. Yep. I had a rough season in the Xfinity season this year. I got caught up in a few wrecks here and there, but I finished my races and now I'm in the playoffs. So that speaks for itself.
Determination to finish that race, and that's what we look to see in a lot of our drivers here at Giggity. So if you think you got the determination and you've got the respect for other drivers on the track, dude, don't hesitate. Hit any one of us up. We're more than welcome to talk to you about how to get into the league, give you advice, let you watch races with us. We'll help you out even if you're not on our team. If you have serious questions you have and we're just in a regular lobby, don't hesitate to ask. We want everybody to be able to have the best racing experience possible. And whatever we can do,
you're absolutely right.
We'll do it.
You know, you hit the nail on the head there. And, you know, to touch back on the subject with Robbie, you're you're going into this next season as a new captain. What's your mindset like? I mean, I know how I felt going into this, you know, when I was picked as an admin, which was, I mean, it was a huge honor and it was a unanimous vote when they voted me as an admin, which, I mean, that in itself, man, it was just a huge honor to have that level of respect from all the admins themselves, that they actually wanted me to take a role like that in this league. And, you know, I definitely hope that I've lived up to the expectations, you know, that they see in me. And I definitely try my best, man, to show my body of work to my drivers, and that when you put the work in, you can do anything on the track. And I wholeheartedly believe that.
Oh, your team's an example of
definitely. I mean, when they said to me, "Oh, we're going to make you a team captain," I was like, it was a big surprise for me. You know, coming into Giggity Racing League, I was chucked into a truck in a teaser race, and then Noko, my current team captain, what a guy, by the way, what a guy. He was like, "How do you feel about racing Xfinity?" So I said, you know, why not? Give Xfinity a go. And then the season went on, and Giggity went on to help me to raise money for my daughter's hospital, which was absolutely amazing. So thank you guys for that. And then asked me to be a team captain on top of that, and taking from what I know now and teaching it to somebody else is going to be awesome. So thank you, Noko.
No, man. No, thank you. Thank you for being
thank you for
the
joining.
person you are. And
right.
You know, and I'm just so blessed to be able to learn more about you, and, you know, peel those layers back of that onion of who Robbie is. And I mean, dude, you as a person, you're a phenomenal person. I mean, I can tell you right now, everybody in the garage in Noko Racing is going to miss you. Like, we are sorely going to miss you, you know.
Yeah,
I'm going
to miss you guys too.
But you know, I'll still be here to help you and guide you with anything you need, and you know that.
When I got picked up by somebody from Giggity, I was like, oh, this is going to go down well, because I think I'm the only Brit guy that probably plays this game, and the only Brit guy in Giggity, so I bet they thought to themselves, an English guy racing NASCAR.
And you know what? There's not a person that I've met that can say something bad about you. You definitely earned your place here.
It expands the brand. You know, we're going international.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my brother to play it, because he's already got NASCAR Heat 4, but he's always too busy. But if he ever gets free time, I'm sure he'll jump on with us and have a race with us and see how he does. I mean, he's a pretty good driver, so
that would be awesome. So I want to I want to shift gears here, guys, real quick, and I want to really discuss the trucks and where we're currently at in the playoffs. And I don't know, man, it's shaping up to be a doozy here coming down the stretch.
Well, Monday night's definitely about to be a lot more fun as we head into this playoff. I mean, there's a lot of talented drivers. Like, Jake had that huge points lead, and there's so much going on.
For the trucks, Jake?
Or not Jake,
UK.
Wildcats.
Yeah. UK,
yeah,
sorry.
Wildcats.
That's my mistake. Yeah, Wildcats has such a huge points lead in the truck series, and he literally dominates every week. He always puts himself in that top 3, that top 2. You know.
So little man posts a comment there, Napa for the win. Well, we're going to see about that, little man. I don't know. I love you, man, but I don't know about that. I can't root for that. I got to root for my boy UK there. But, I mean, the points battle, guys, going down the stretch, it's so tight. I mean, it's been documented that, you know, UK has that big points gap in first position. But, I mean, everybody down below, it's anybody's race, man. And when you get down to that final race, we saw last season, I mean, guys are going to do whatever it takes to win that championship. I mean, within reason, of course, and, you know, we're going to monitor stuff like that if
somebody's intentionally, wrecking somebody or whatnot, that, penalties will be assessed in an event that happens. But I mean, going down the stretch here, guys, it's going to be a barn burner for sure.
Who's your guys' pick to win this championship? Who's your pick?
I got to go with my guy, man. UK Wildcats. He's one of my drivers I'm developing. The dude is incredible, and he's just so patient. He's a clean driver. He's very respectful. He's an awesome friend. I mean, that's my pick. I got to be biased here. I know Napa fans in the mix. I know there's other drivers in the mix. But, man, I got to go with my boy. I got to. I'm sorry, guys, but I got to go with my man. The 24 truck for the win.
Yeah. I got to second that. I've raced with UK, not just in trucks, but, just in online, in cup cars, in esports lobbies, and the guy is just super fast. Really talented. He's not aggressive. He'll go sit there and wait for you to make a mistake and then pounce on it. He won't force the issue. Just super talented guy.
Definitely. I gotta give a shout out here. Exotic Apex, He chimes into the chat. He says, "Don't count me out. I'm on the podium throwing the points off. I'll be on the podium throwing the points off for the boys." So, hey man, I saw you at Canadian Tire. I was really impressed with you, buddy. And, we really appreciate you coming in here and checking out the cast for tonight. And definitely, man, you're definitely one of the picks to be there probably at the end. I mean, I don't know. It's just so tight. I just can't pick the drivers. I just know I'm going to pick my driver, but I don't know who the other guys are going to be. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know who it's going to be.
Well, and also, we have to look at, I'm going to give a shout out to you, Apex, from that Iowa race.
Hey, Miles in the chat. Hey, Miles, what's up, Mills? What are you doing, buddy? Connects the sleepers, he says.
Definitely.
Boys.
Exotic actually started at the end.
Out of here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's shout out here, guys. Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're perfect.
By the way, I'm not gonna put it down here, wise. My pick for the trucks is gonna be a sleeper. I'm pulling for Pro.
Okay.
Pro.
That's a very good pick.
Another
Pro
one
Ripper?
of my drivers, very respectful guy. Pro is
He's
one
a
of
sleeper. He's a sleeper.
He's one of those quiet. He's a quiet, consistent driver. He's the guy that you're going along in your race. And you look up at the ticker, and all of a sudden he's in second or third, and you're like, "Well, where did he come from?"
Exactly.
So,
all right, boys, I'm heading out.
All right, Shadow
right,
man, thanks for joining us.
Man.
I appreciate it, man, and good luck in the rest of your developmental.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys next season.
Definitely.
See you later, buddy.
Peace.
Definitely.
But like I said, guys, it's anybody. It's anybody's race at this point. Like we said, UK has that big lead, but. Man, if he has a couple bad races or something happens, that points lead can evaporate in a heartbeat.
Well, we see it. You miss one race, make one mistake, lag out. Anything can happen, and it can ruin your points for not only one race, but it could trickle down as we head to the end of this championship battle. Guys are going to be on their A games, so you can't afford to have a C-, D+ effort. You got to bring your A game every night.
And that can be tough, man, because these other guys are doing the same thing, and it's hard to be the cream that rises to the top every single week. It is so freaking hard to do that. I just can't. I can't tell you guys how hard it is to do that week in and week out. It's not easy. It's really not, and it's a testament to a lot of these guys that can bring that every week. It just shows the skill and the talent, and I've always felt. In my mind, when you get down to that final race, it's going to be the guy that wants it the most. Whoever wants that the most is going to be the one that's going to win.
And that's been shown throughout every series that we have, is that the guys that want it the most are out there putting it out.
I'm highlighting the truck playoffs right now. I'm looking at it, and right now, going into this next race, you got, as far as the bubble drivers go, you got Sean T and Old Guy are sitting on the, they're seated right now 5th and 6th. Money Mike's in 4th, Pro's in 3rd. You got Napa in 2nd. And you got UK, of course. He's the leader with those being your 6 drivers going into the next round. So this is gonna be interesting here with the next couple of races, and I'm definitely gonna be tuning in to see what my guys can do. I got 3 out of the top 6 right now are my drivers for the playoffs. So I got a good shot already to win. So. 3 out of 6, I'll take
odds
that.
In your favor.
I'll take
he's got
that,
a good eye for talent, man.
You can't count these guys out though. I know Old Guy was there at the end of the season last year, and he's been coming on strong as of late. These last few races in the playoffs, so you just can't sleep on any of these drivers, man. You just don't know what's going to happen. Anybody can win a race on fuel mileage, or you could have one of those late cautions that come out and maybe somebody gets trapped a lap down. You just don't know. You can't script it. That's why we race the races.
Well, that's what we love about it. The never knowing what's going to happen. Anything can happen. Somebody can touch an apron after dominating the whole race and wind up losing it. Or in your case, at Darlington, a lap car or somebody, anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Anything can happen. So, when you think you got it locked down, you need to stay aware, and you need to make sure you are alert at all times, around every corner, because, anything can happen, like you said. It really can. And it's going to be exciting, man. The trucks are definitely going to be an exciting finish. You got a lot of great drivers in there, and I can't wait for it to wind down and see who's going to be crowned the champion for this season.
I love watching the truck races and the developmental. Oh, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome to watch.
It is, ain't it, Robbie? Yeah, I love it. It's like you get to see the talent and how they develop, and some of these guys it's night and day, the difference from where they've started and where they're at now. It's awesome to see.
Well, and these guys are putting in the time and effort. They know that they're not going to advance into the higher series if they don't perform good here. So this is your highlight, man. This is your rookie seasons. This is where you win your championships. That builds your reputation and your legacy.
Well, this is also going to give you that opportunity to leapfrog to a higher tier, going from trucks to Xfinity. If you can show what you can do in the trucks, then you're worthy of getting that Xfinity ride, getting that call for Mr. Hendrick to get in that Xfinity car. You know what I mean?
Oh, Mr. Hendrick, who are you calling up next year?
I got a few guys in mind right now, and I'm super pumped about it. We've already spoken in a private chat, all three of us together, and it's gonna be fun. The draft is gonna be really fun. We're definitely gonna touch on that a little bit later, but I gotta leave hold a little bit back from you guys. I can't tell you all the secrets, but it's gonna be fun.
I've left a few spaces in Xfinity and Cup.
Of course, you have to, but going back to it, guys. We're in the next round for the trucks. Like I said, who do you guys think is going to be the ones to watch going into this next round?
Yeah, I think we hit on the main ones, honestly. It's hard to get anything past Napa Fan, Wildcats, Old Guy. They're in the top of the points for a reason. They're the ones that are still fighting for this playoff championship, and I don't expect things to change heading into this week. You may have a couple guys in there get to throw it in with them. Coke FN, he's been fast.
Yeah, he has been. Is he going to be a spoiler, though? Is he going to be one of those guys that can say, hey, I know we're in the playoffs, but I'm going to go out here and win these races so I can show my captain what I can do to maybe get an Xfinity ride or something. You know what I mean? There's a lot involved here, because it's not just the playoff drivers racing on the track. You've got other drivers out there that, they're going to race them still, with respect, of course, but it's just not them on the track. So, as a playoff driver, you got to be mindful of who you're racing against. If I got a guy that's faster than me that's not in the playoffs, if I'm in the playoffs, I'm not going to race that guy as hard. I'm going to let him go, and I'm going to be more worried about the guys that I'm having to battle for the points.
Points battles. Every point matters, and that's the way that you win these championships. You got to work.
You got to race. You have to race smarter, not harder. That's what I've always used that. And your battle is with the guy that's below you in points or the guy that's right above you in points. Your battle is not with somebody that's knocked out of the playoffs or whatnot. Of course, you want to win the race, but if circumstances, dictate otherwise, then you need to just grab as many points as you can. And, touching on that subject, man, Money Mike at Canadian Tire, he had a heck of a run. I don't think anybody in the booth or not a lot of drivers in that series expected him to finish in the top 5 at Canadian Tire, but he put the work in, and he definitely brought himself up in the points after those races. And it just shows that getting better and practicing, and applying yourself to it. You know, you gotta do that at this time of the year. I mean, it's time to step up, and you have to give your best now.
Dang,
you haven't
Mike.
given your best yet. You need to give it
Had you not
now.
been up there, had you not gotten that top 5, Mike, I'd have been 5th. I wound up 6th, so good showing for you, buddy.
He finished 4th, man. It's crazy. It was a good finish for him, and he needed that for the points. And Sean T, man, he barely squeaked in to that next round. He ended up eliminating Sports Legends. So we had a lot of drama there coming to those final laps at Canadian Tire, which it was fun to watch. Like Robbie said, man, the truck races are phenomenal.
Drama was the story. I mean, Sean T, first lap coming off of the final corner by pit road, he got spun into the pits and started the race off in that big of a deficit.
Yeah, it's never good when you start in a hole. I can tell you that from personal experience, and I think everybody in the booth with me right now can definitely attest to that one. When you start in a hole like that, it's so hard to dig out.
Yes.
That's why you gotta not give up. That's why you gotta, keep racing the race.
And like you said, Robbie, you're looking for drivers that don't give up. And Sean T, he stayed the course. He didn't give up. He kept his cool, and he just ran his race.
Exactly.
That's what it takes, you know.
Where
Look
are
at
they
some of the
running this
names
week?
in here, like Coke FN, back there in ninth. That's one of the top esports guys that I've seen when they were doing some of the esports qualifiers. I mean, Exotic Apex, Archangel, Dimebags, Puddin', C-Dub, Guitar. I mean, you can Bad Moon, Elvin Priest. There's so many of these guys that are in the truck series that joined, part way into the season that are just
some of them
really,
we're going to
really
be able to
fast
see
guys.
exactly. Some of them we're going to see what they can do next season in a full-time truck ride. Like a good example would be Dimebags. He's one of my drivers, and he couldn't make it the whole season due to work-related issues. So he got re-signed to the team for next season to drive one of my trucks, and it's going to be exciting to see what he can do with good equipment for a full season.
Yes.
He's a good driver, Dimebags. I raced with him in a league on Heat 3, and then he switched over to Heat 4, and I was like, why don't you race for Giggity and come to Team Noco? But he is a good driver. I know he's been away with working up here, but can't wait to see what he's got next season.
Most definitely.
He was definitely fun to practice with when we were practicing for Canadian Tire.
What's y'all's final thoughts on what we got going on in the trucks right now? When we shift gears, we'll move to Xfinity.
Fun, exciting, and drama-filled. That's how I expect
we got,
next
got to give Jay Wood,
go.
got to give Justin Wood a shout out. Jay Wood, what's up, man? Good to see you in the chat, buddy. You're an impressive driver yourself, man, and I can't wait to see you next season. He says hashtag Jay Wood Season 4 Freaky Fast. Oh yeah, man. I know it. Mad respect for you, buddy. Yes. I know what you're all about. You're a heck of a driver, man. You're on a heck of a team too with Little Man.
No doubt. I'm looking forward to I would not miss any of the rest of these truck playoff races. I mean, they're going to be exciting. It's going to come down to the wire. It's just all these guys, and especially with some of these newer guys that join, it's going to be a really good season.
So Blakey T, he puts in the comment, he says, Blakey T to Team Noco 2025. Hey, that might happen sooner than you think, man. You never know. We might end up working a deal out. You never know. You might be one of my boys. But I got mad respect for you, Blakey. Hey, not if Robbie gets you first, he says. But got mad respect for you, Robbie. Blakey T, mad respect for you, man. I would definitely have the chance to have you as a driver for sure and help you along your ways with Giggity.
I like what Blakey T said here. He said at one point I didn't think I would get the call up, but then I did, and it happened so fast,
Mill says, is that like the napkin contract?
Hey. I believe there's a really famous driver that signed his contract on a napkin, so hey, I like that analogy, actually, Mills.
Shifting gears, guys, we're going to go back and let's discuss a little bit on this Xfinity series, because that is another one that, it's been a gaggle. You got a bunch of fast guys in that series. And we got fast drivers everywhere, but these guys are they're vying for cup spots. These guys want to be, they want to do the best they can because they want to be in the top series. They want to be in the cup races. So, I mean, highlighting the points here, I'm looking at it for Thursdays, and Thursdays I believe is our customs, right, Roofer?
Yes, Thursday is the customs night, and Saturday is the preset night.
I mean, it's been well documented all season, guys, that Jake has just had a stranglehold on the Xfinity Series. He's been so consistent, so dominant. I know a lot of drivers have, just like in real life, you see those drivers that are winning all the time, and you start getting fans booing them and stuff. But that's not the case with Jake. Jake's the class act, man. He's a good driver. He's a great guy, and I'm looking at the points here, and it is a huge gap. And is Thursday points the old points format?
If it was, I think it is.
Okay, so at this point, it looks like Jake has a commanding lead here with 906 points. Woodruff Sports falling in second, not too far behind. I mean, Jake has a comfortable lead, but Woodruff has 776 points, and then from there, that's where the battle ensues. You got No Pit Pendle's in third with 731. Robbie, you're sitting fourth right now with 627. Good showing for you, top five. Trey's in fifth. Our old boy Trey, new captain right there. I love Trey. He's a good guy. He's sitting in fifth right now with 608 points. Bob's in sixth. Jackson Strong. Jay Wood joined late, but he's up to eighth in the points. Another strong driver we talked about. Bulk Crusher is in ninth. G9 Gamers in 10th. So it's a really strong top 10 right there. And we got some other guys that joined later on in the season, further down in the points. A couple of my drivers that had joined later in the season. But, I mean, it's just a stacked field. It's a really good Xfinity Series. The new format we have coming next season with the qualifying in for the races, I think that's really going to help these series. Because you're going to be based off of speed. The top 18 are going to be able to get into the races, and I think that's what these series need, is to kind of not get so choked back with so many cars on the track and certain people, and certain guys aren't as quick as others. So these guys, might be getting ran over, and having it split up like that, I just feel it's going to be just better racing. It's going to follow the Dirt Series format, and from what I've heard, the Dirt Series format has been very successful.
It's been a blast. It's definitely
really
cleaned up the racing. It's shrunk the field size, but the racing has gone up.
It's going to make it fun, just knowing that you got to qualify just to get into the race or do the best. If we have a B main, you're just going to have to race your butt off to, because there's so many talented guys, you can't leave anybody out. If you, I don't know, if you kind of overlook a guy, you're going to miss out on something, and that guy's going to pass you. You can't take no one for granted. Everyone's that close within each other.
It is. It's very close, and like I said, it's coming down to the stretch here. What do you guys? I know that the next race is coming up here. Who's y'all's picks to maybe give Jake a run here down the stretch?
Robbie, I mean, I'm not trying to be, Robbie is always someone to watch out for. I mean, he's right there in fourth, I see, on the Thursday night customs, but he's also on the Saturday night playoffs. He made the final 8 last night. Robbie and Trey, I mean, them guys have done, and Woodruff, man, I'll tell you what, Woodruff.
Trey's always been one of those sneaky drivers.
Yes.
And he is our truck champion from last season. He's always found a way somehow to put himself in position to have a shot at winning, and he's very good at that. And even if he doesn't have the car to beat you on speed, he's going to find a way, any way he can, to beat you out on the track, whether it's fuel mileage or trying to flip-flop track position on pit strategy. He's really good at that, and that's, it takes practice, and he's definitely one of those drivers, and that puts the work in doing that. And as a new team captain, I'm proud of him. Congratulations to him. But it's going to be exciting. It's who's going to be able to stop the Jake. I mean, that's been the question all season long, and not a lot of people have been able to run up against him. But you never know what can happen. You really don't.
I've not heard anybody say No Pit Pendle.
Well, and that's the thing. I was going to highlight that too. In the Saturday series, I mean, you got Pendle and you got Bad for You, both in the top 4 in points. I mean, right along with you, Robbie, and Jake. I mean, and Jackson, can't count him out in 5th. I mean, anybody over in that. Roofer, you have come so far in the truck series. I mean, dude, watching you get faster and faster each week has been awesome. Even though, guys may look at it as, yeah, you're 6th in points, dude. You've got a chance to go out there every week and win. So I mean, I can't count anybody out. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, you can't. Like I said, at this point, you got to be bringing your best. If you're not bringing your best at this point, you got to be peaking at the right time. If you're not bringing your best at this point, you're not going to have a shot at the end because everybody elevates their game in the playoffs. You know,
Right.
it's just more. It's more pressure. It's whoever handles that pressure the best is going to be that driver that's going to win.
And guess where we are next week? Daytona.
Daytona, baby.
And that is
Daytona.
Daytona, Talladega. Those are the great equalizers. So
Yes.
you never know. That's anybody's race. You can't call that one. It's honestly going to come down to who's going to work well together and who's not.
Yeah,
Honestly,
exactly.
the whole top 8 in the playoffs, I mean, even the guys that got eliminated last night, Ed, you know, he got wrecked, unfortunately, because of lag issue, you know, was kind of upset about it, but then he thought about it for a minute and was like, you know, it's racing. Pendle couldn't help the lag issue, you know, that he had. And Martinsville is just not one of Ed's greatest tracks, you know, a controller driver, and he ended up backing out of the race, not thinking he had a chance because he had a bad finish at Darlington, and then a couple guys, you know, lagged out, like Robbie had an emergency. Jake Guru even had problems last night, and I wish he would have stuck in there, you know, but that's how strong the Xfinity is that guys like Cards Fan and Ed, you know, get eliminated on the first night because the whole top 10 is just that strong of drivers, you know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I just want to give a shout out real quick to one of my drivers, Wicked Gatekeepers. He's pops in and says, "Giggity, giggity, boys. So good to see you, Wicked. Glad you could join us." Blakey T,
Yes, sir.
he chimes in and says, "Oh no, Daytona, my kryptonite. Hey man, I'm right there with you. Plate tracks aren't my forte either. You just you got to be lucky, and you just got to be there at the end if you can get there."
You need someone really to, you know, like, anytime I'm at a plate track, if Noco's there, I already know what my plan is. I'm going to push Noco because he's really good at holding the line.
Oh,
And
let's
guys
follow
that
the
are
fast
good at
guy.
holding the line. Right. Well, I like pushing. I'm a pusher.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy out front that's going to be the rabbit, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? I like getting behind the rabbit and just staying right there. And if I got a chance to go around them on the last lap, I'm going to try. If not, I'm going to be happy with just sitting right there and getting second place. But
Definitely. I mean, go ahead.
No, being out front, you know, you just got to have nerves of steel. You know, I was out front for maybe 50.
You have to have
right.
that. You have to have no fear. When you're out front at Daytona or Talladega, you're the one that's dictating the pace. So if you can hold it as steady as possible, you're going to go that much faster.
Exactly.
So the lead car has a lot of pressure on him, and it's tough. It's tough being that lead car, and then when you have an outside line forming, it's tough to want to get out of your comfort zone from the bottom and try to block that line, you know, and
Yeah.
it's hard to do that. And there's been drivers that I've watched that have perfected that in other leagues, and I'm not quite there yet. I can do it in certain occasions, but it's hard to know when to move up to stop that run and when to move back down without causing a huge accident. It's tough, man.
Yes.
Daytona. And people think that, you know, it doesn't take a lot of skill to race those tracks. It takes tons of skill. I mean, it's
Yes.
not hard to hold your line, but like we talked about it, you know, being able to get that outside line to form, especially
Not too sure what's just happened to
I think
Noco
Noco
there.
just had a little bit of internet issues.
Yeah, I think.
Probably
We'll
right
probably-
back. But I tell you, Noco, like he had outside line forming, and I seen it in my mirror during one of the custom cup races at Daytona. And I happened to just jump up. I seen it coming. I jumped up there right and at the nick of time. Any later, and I would have actually wrecked him. And he ended up pushing me to one of my stage wins. You know, one of my few stage wins that I've had this year. It's really hard to pass on the outside, but it's like Taddy. The last time we ran at Daytona, first time he had the wheel, he had a wicked fast car. And he was making that outside work because he said, you know, the way he had it set up, it wasn't sticking to the bottom really well. So he committed to the top side. And that's what it takes. It's going to take guys at Daytona. If you need more guys to go to the high side than you have on the bottom side. It's a numbers game.
It definitely is, as you look back at that and you see the changes that come out throughout the races and stuff. But I actually want to pull aside to the comment section here. We got Shadow Grim throwing in an amazing question for us. He asked, how do you see next season going for the new up-and-coming signed drivers? Well, and the thing about it is we have new drivers in every single series. We've got new Cup drivers, new Xfinity drivers,
sorry,
new
guys,
truck drivers.
I got booted.
Oh, no,
So
you're fine.
Shadow Grim chimes in here. He says, how do you see next season going for the new up-and-coming signed drivers? That's a really good question, Shadow. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm expecting a lot, honestly. We have drivers that are moving from every series to new series. There's not a series that doesn't have new drivers. So seeing how they take to the new vehicles that they're handling and stuff like that is going to be really awesome to see and nice to watch as a fellow competitor working his way up through the ranks of Giggity.
I don't know who the party host is, but I put Mills in there as a suggested. He was saying maybe he would jump up here and join us if y'all want. Okay. But he's another one that's really great driver. He had his own league going on before he joined Giggity, a little truck league that he runs on Saturday nights, and it's only 8, 9, 10 guys, but some of the funnest racing ever. And it was like, hey man, why don't you come over here to Giggity and try it out? And he's like, man, I really don't jump out of my comfort zone too much, but he did, came over here and gave it a shot, and he's loved it. And him and RKM have been really tight over there on the Canuck side, or Canadian side, all year long. So just happy to have guys like that. I'm not a really big league racer. I kind of like doing my own thing. I'll try it out, and then they fell in love with it.
Mills, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for stepping up here with us.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing good, man. Good to have you in here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me along.
Oh, anything, man. This is about the league, and we want to get as many people's opinions in here as possible. That's why we love having you guys over there comment in the comment section, bringing us questions and things to go on. And we'll ask you, man. We'll let you be the first to come off and actually really answer Grim's question.
Which was what? I came in after the fact.
Sorry. He asked, how do you see next season going for the new up-and-coming drivers that have been signed to new teams, to new series, and that have just put their foot in the door of Giggity?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. It's still pretty hush-hush amongst the captains, who's going where and who's driving what, but I think we're going to see the series take a big shuffle all the way through all 3 series, and looking forward to it. I think it's, we can get some of the really, really fast guys together and let them have at it. And I think it's going to produce a product that's going to be mind-blowing to watch. And, I'm super excited.
As a driver, how do you feel about the new qualifying format going into next season for these series?
I have mixed feelings on it as a driver. Definitely everybody has their set of tracks that fall into their wheelhouse, and some that don't, for sure. Indy comes to mind for me. But I mean, if that's what it takes to put a good product on the track and let as many people race as possible, then I'm all for it.
That's awesome to hear. I like to see the changes.
It's going to make people step up their qualifying game. That's something a lot of people don't really work. There's some people that do work on that, but there's some people that don't work on it. But now you're going to be forced into, testing and tuning and figuring out, all right, what can I do to make this car fast for one lap just so I can make the show? It's going to add a whole new level of, of practice, something I've never practiced is for that one lap run, but you're gonna have to figure it out now.
That's the thing about having the 2 setup slots too, because you're not only gonna have to have the setup for that fast lap, because it's gonna be a fast setup, but it is going to eat your tires up and destroy you in the long run. So you're also gonna have a secondary setup have to be set in there, so that in between races you can quick switch over and be ready for the race and not really sacrifice too much as far as longevity and consistency goes throughout your runs.
So I definitely want to. I don't want to cut you off here, but I want to kind of move forward with our next topic. And we discussed a little bit on Thursday Xfinity Series of Customs. Let's briefly go over the Saturday Xfinity. What you guys think about the Saturday Xfinity Series. With the playoffs and everything else, and we'll talk about preview the races and stuff, and then we'll move forward to the Cup. But we also have something special
after we talk about all the Cup stuff, with one of our own that was involved in a terrible, terrible accident. And he's just been handling himself very well. And he's in our thoughts and prayers, but we want to get to that, as soon as possible here. But as far as Saturday goes, guys, that has been the tightest so far in points. And we know it's been well documented. It's default. And honestly, man, what do you guys think of Saturday's playoffs?
Well, I think other than Jake, who's sitting at the top of the leaderboard right now with 1,556 points, he's fairly comfortable. Everybody else is within striking distance of everybody. Nobody in, second through eighth are sitting pretty right now. It's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. And when I'm looking at the points here, it's almost the exact same guys that are up front on Thursday's races. They're almost the same ones that are up front on the Saturday races. So it definitely correlates with one another. With the 2 days, you can see which guys are running good both on custom and default. And we got our very own Roofer there. He's seated in 8th right now in the points. So shout out to Roofer. He made the round of 8. Good job, man. I know that was a huge accomplishment for you.
Yeah, the doctor's on Thursday, so that's why I'm not able to run the Thursday customs, because I love customs better than default. But no, I appreciate it.
Definitely, man. You got Woodruff seated 7th. You got Trey in 6th. Jackson Strong, he's seated 5th. Robbie Vids 4th. Bad For You Racing 3rd. You got Mil Pit Pendle in 2nd, and then you got Jake Drew, obviously taking the top spot for right now. And I don't know, guys. Like we talked about, mistakes. Is Jake going to make that mistake? Is he going to do something in these next couple rounds that's going to cause him to lose that points gap? Me, I don't know. I don't think he will. But anything can happen. We don't know. He could lag out. Something can go wrong. You never know. Pit strategy, he might miss the fuel strategy. You never know what can happen. I mean, like we talked about, it's playoff time. People are going to be here bringing their very best on the track. So, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, most definitely. Sure. I wouldn't miss any of those races if I was a fan viewing at home either. The rest of these races are all going to be really hard fought because everybody wants the championship. At the end of the day, you're only going to have one champion. But if you can make that final 3 at at Dega, Dega, anything can happen. Mm-hmm. So, Jake's been really dominant at every track that we've been to all year, but that's the big equalizer. The way we have it set up is Dega, anything can happen. So it's going to be exciting to see.
We seem to have a recurring theme through all of our series right now. That everything is so tight in the top, between the top 10, top 15 competitors, that you really can never pick somebody out of it. There's always that chance of being a surprise.
I mean, it was a surprise last season, like we talked about for our trucks earlier. Old guy made it all the way to the Final Four, and I mean, nobody really expected him to go that far into the playoffs. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen with all the other series this season. Who's going to be those couple of drivers or that one driver that's going to surprise everybody and make it to the final race in championship contention?
And, I just, I want to highlight it just one more time because I think it's totally awesome. Last night, the Xfinity Series ran around a 10, and Robbie Vids, our very own Robbie Vids in the booth with us right now, if he didn't have his playoff points, his 3 playoff points from the regular season, he would not have made the next round. It was that close between him and Cards Fan for that final position. So
that's close.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of it. It wasn't until after I watched the broadcast I was like, wow, how lucky I actually really was.
There's that is funny that you mentioned that, because so I was on the bubble for the Sunday race, for the Sunday Cup Series default races to make the playoffs. If Wicked Gatekeeper had not given me that extra position at Watkins Glen, I would not have made the playoffs. It was 1 point. I needed that. If he had not given me that 1 point, I would not have made it. So that goes to show you that every point matters, not only in the playoffs, but even being able to make the playoffs. Every position, every point matters every race. You have a bad race, but, you got to make sure you keep the bad races to a minimum as much as possible. Of course, sometimes circumstances can dictate things, and, we can't control a lot of things on the track that happen, but you got to put yourself in position
all the time, and you got to be aware of your surroundings. Staying in that top 5, you just got to be lingering around, and it's those consistent finishes that are those are gonna carry you to the final race at Homestead or whatever the final race may be. And it's been well documented, like we talked about. Those points on the track, man, it's playoff points. However many playoff points you can gain is going to be a huge advantage getting you through to those next rounds.
Really huge. That's something
100%.
for everybody to think of next season if you're new to the league. If you get a chance to win a stage or win a race, do give it everything you got, because when it gets to the playoffs, these playoff points are very huge. That was
and they're hard to get. They're not easy.
Oh,
they're
yes.
hard. It's hard to get those. It's hard to win stages.
Yes.
It's not easy. It's just not. It's with the level of competition, and especially at this time of the season, I feel like it's even tougher than ever to put yourself in those positions.
Well, and as we're talking about stages and stuff like that, that's a perfect segue into the Cup Series, because we actually had a historic weekend happen this last weekend in the Custom Cup, and it was amazing to see. Complete dominance by a sweep of all stages and races by none other than Noko up here in the booth himself, and you've proven it. That's why you have such a big lead right now as we continue into this, is them playoff stages really helped you.
Yeah,
and like I said,
stages.
Almost didn't make it. I mean, that close.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because if I had not gotten that one extra point, I have 15 playoff points on Sunday. So with me being able to make it, that jumps me from being seated last in the playoffs to second, right behind Smitty, and 1 point behind Smitty, as a matter of fact, in second. So that's how crucial that 1 point can be, and it's showing up here, coming down to stretch at the end of the season here. But who's y'all's picks? What Final Four? Give me, right now, just spout out a Final Four for me for the Xfinity Series on Saturday, and then we'll move forward.
I'm going to say the top 4. I'm not going to be able to see it change. All 4 of them have been so dominant and consistent in putting up the top performances. They save their equipment, they wait till the end of the race, and they continue to work their way up front, even overcoming mistakes that they make on track or non-self-inflicted wounds. They still find ways to come back from them.
Most definitely, but don't count out Trey now. Trey is someone, I don't know if he's in the top 4, but he's going to be one to keep your eye on. He's right there, I think.
I definitely have to agree with you. If I had to pick a top 4, it would be a safe bet for me to pick the top 4 currently. But that 5th driver, that wild card driver, I think personally, Trey, he snuck in last season and he ended up winning it all in the truck. So, anything can happen. And same thing with Larson last season for Xfinity Series. He snuck in there, and Marcus had such a dominant lead, and he dominated the Xfinity Series. And it ended up coming down to Larson winning the championship. So we don't know. That's why we race the races. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see it, but I have to agree with you guys there. That would be my top 4. Jake, Pendle, bad for you, Robbie. That's my top 4. With a 5th sleeper being Trey, maybe one of those shuffling one of the other drivers out. Who knows? Mills, what do you have for us?
I think Jake is definitely for sure locked in. He's going to be in that Final Four. No Pit Pendle, I pick him up as well. I'd throw Trey in there, and you know what? Roofer is fast when it's time to go. So I think Roofer's going to come through in the clutch and be the surprise sleeper.
Well, I'm going to say Woodruff Sport, so that way he gets in there too, because he's been putting in some amazing performances lately.
Him and Jackson Strong both. I mean, really, like I said, the whole top 8, you really can't call anybody, there's counting anybody out of this whole group, it's going to be tough. Jake's in kind of a class of his own, but everyone from 2nd through 8th is right there. So it's going to be, practice is going to be really key. I mean,
so
like I told everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Shadowgrim chimes in. He has his picks. He says Jake, Woodruff, Trey, Robbie. That's his Final 4. Ooh, and leaving Pendle out, man. I don't know about that. Pendle's a solid pick.
Yeah.
Pendle's definitely a solid pick. He's definitely top 3 speed every week. So I don't know if I agree with that for Graham, but we'll go with it. You never know.
And he has 12 playoff points. Those go a long ways.
No offense to any of the drivers, but I think No Pit Pendle is going to win the Xfinity Series. I don't mean any harm to anybody when I say that. I love everybody in Xfinity Series. I love everybody in Giggity. but I just got this feeling that Pendle's going to win it.
I could see that, Robbie.
Pendle was my first pick in the draft, and he is a really good friend of mine, and he has lived up to every expectation I've had of him. And he's had some bad races and circumstances hadn't come his way, but his win total should be a lot more than what it is. And that guy is an incredible driver. He is he is just so incredibly consistent on every track we go to, and he can save fuel. He is one of the masters at saving fuel. So I gotta go with you there, Robbie. I think it's gonna. I honestly do think Pendle's gonna win the Xfinity Series championship. I have to go with you for Saturday. I think he's gonna win it. I do agree with you on that.
Well, he's definitely going to have a tough competition to go up against to get through Jake, and Jake's then showed himself week in and week out as the top dog in the series. So it's going to be fun to watch as this playoff comes to a close, as we're going to work our way over to the Xfinity Series, which is or the Cup Series, who actually runs tonight, right?
It sure does.
And where are we running tonight, guys? We're running at Pocono and Daytona, two extremely big and fast tracks.
No, we're going at Gateway in Las Vegas.
Oh, wrong information.
I'm almost done with it.
Yeah, it'll be
we could start
round
we'll
2.
start with Wednesdays, aren't we? Yeah, we're at round 2, right?
Oh, yep.
Mills?
Okay, yep.
And what a round 1 we had. I just got to say that right now.
Oh, absolutely.
It was really exciting. Yes, round 1 was really exciting. I think 4 guys got cut on round 1, so that made the racing even
harder. 4 guys did get cut. You're absolutely right, Roofer. And I can get some of that stuff for you right now. So the round of 12, the cut was RKM, and unfortunately, with A-Trout being cut, I mean that's somber for me to say that, because it wasn't because of his own doing as why he would have gotten cut, because A-Trout is a fighter on and off the track, and we all know in this booth right now, A-Trout should not be below that cut line.
No.
We all know that. That's guaranteed. He should not be below that cut line. And unfortunately, we're praying for him, and we're about to get to that whole situation, what's going on with him, and our prayers are going out to him, and we're going to discuss everything that's going to happen for him tonight. And for me personally, as his captain, what I'm going to do for him for the rest of the season. But A-Trout got below the cut line, Flirt with Disaster, and then Kay Larson. That was our 4 drivers that got eliminated this last Wednesday, guys. So looking at the top 8 right now, go with the flow. He's seated 8th. We got Checkmate Taylor in 7th. Wicked Gatekeeper 6th. We got our very own K Taddy, our CEO, sitting top 5 right now. Mills, there you go, boy, my boy Mills. Mr. Canuck, he's sitting 4th. RJ Smitty sitting 3rd. You got Buck Racing in 2nd, and then you got me, Noco Racing. I'm sitting 1st right now in the points. So discussing Wednesdays, guys. I know we haven't had a lot of guys joining many Wednesday races. I know it kind of conflicts with a lot of people's scheduling, and a lot of guys don't really run custom Cup cars. What do you guys think of the playoffs right now? I mean, I thought I had a blast. I mean, as a driver, I had a blast on Wednesday, and not because, running up front and winning stages and stuff, but I felt like the racing was top quality.
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
You don't have to have 20 cars on a track to have a quality race, and I've always believed in that. I've always believed in quality over quantity.
Yep. Yeah, no, 100%. Racing was spectacular. Right up until it really came down to crunch time at, was it Vegas? Yeah, I think Vegas.
We had a couple of cautions there at the end, a couple of instances, and those last restarts had me bite my nails.
Yeah. And it really was. It was quite a exciting finish, as much as I wish I could have it back.
I didn't have fire off speed in that car, but I had you on the long run, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Guys, I just wanted to say thanks for having me, but I had to jump out. I have something going on, but good luck for everybody in the playoffs tonight, and for what you guys got going on here. This was a special thing, and I know once you guys get to it, I just want to wish him a speedy recovery and all that, but great job, guys, and can't wait to see the racing tonight, and great job, guys.
Well, we appreciate it, Roofer. Right. Thanks for coming in, man, and joining us, and it's always fun getting your insight in the races, and you as an Xfinity driver, you give us a different eye on how everything is, because you're in that part of the races, so it's cool hearing everything from your perspective, man, and
You've always been really helpful with Giggity too, man. And I look forward to seeing you on the track, buddy. Take care of what you got to take care of. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir, buddy.
See you,
Thank you.
Roofer.
Yes, sir.
See you, bud.
What do you guys think, man? Like, playoff time, cup races, we're going to round 2. Oh, man, I don't know.
It's nerve-wracking as a broadcaster, fan, and drivers.
I think we're going to be looking at some really intense racing coming over the next few weeks, and Cup Series is definitely going to be up there, and there's going to be a lot of close racing. And it's going to be really interesting to see. So for you guys that actually watch our broadcast, definitely make sure that you tune in for the Sunday night's Cup races, because it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, man. I mean, we're touching on Wednesday right now. What do you guys think? What's going to happen? Who's out? Who's out after Wednesday? We're going to be eliminating 2 drivers.
Question there, buddy.
Before I can answer that, I actually don't know where we're going. Where are we racing?
So Wednesday we're going to Texas and the Roval.
Oh. Okay.
Wednesday, I'm gonna say that we're gonna keep Noko in there. I'm gonna say K-Taddy sneaks his way in from 5th. Gatekeeper's gonna be hard to beat, but I think Buck and probably Mills are gonna wind up sneaking their way in. And
we get 6. We'll have 6 after Wednesday.
I like to see Flo stay in there, and I think Smitty's gonna manage to stay up in there too. He's had some really solid performances throughout the year. So yeah, that'll be my 6.
Okay, that's a good 6. It's a safe bet. So you're taking Checkmate out, and who was your other driver that was out?
As much as I like you, buddy, me and Wicked, we chop it up all the time, man. But you got some stiff competition, and nothing against Wicked. Dude, he's a great driver. The Roval is a different monster.
I don't know, man. Wicked's pretty good at the Roval. I was practicing with him, and he's running lap times. He's mirroring lap times I'm running at the Roval. So,
wow.
I don't know. I think you're going to have to see what's going to happen, because I think he's going to surprise you.
Well, see, you got that backdoor knowledge, man, that we don't know about. You're sitting there practicing.
No kidding.
Yeah. There's stuff that I know about, guys, but, it's... I think that's the same thing with every team, though. I think every team has they know what's going on, and that's the big unknown with all of us, is we don't know what anyone else is doing. So,
well, thanks for that information, Mr. Hendrick, because now I might just switch my...
That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun, But, honestly, man, I really don't think it's going to change. I think that the 2 that are going to be eliminated is going to be Checkmate and Flo. I haven't seen enough out of them, and it's not taking away anything from them personally. I think they're both great drivers, but I mean, I'm going statistically, and I don't think they're going to have what it takes to make it past the next round. That's just my opinion. But like I said, anything can happen. It's so close. Like me looking at the playoff points, Taddy has 1 playoff point. Mills, you don't have any. So even Mills really isn't too safe. Wicked has 4. I mean, a little bit more comfortable. But you got 3 drivers with no points, 1 driver with 1 point. So it's really going to be a battle between those 4 drivers.
And actually, the picture that we're looking at for the points is before we restacked it for this round. So that in mind, the bottom 2 are still actually the bottom 2. But RJ Smitty is actually currently seated 2nd with his 12 playoff points, and then Buck would be 3rd. And Wicked Gatekeeper actually seated 4th right now. So
yeah, so that would be our top 4, and then Taddy would be 5th. It looks like you would be 6th.
Yep.
And then Checkmate, and then Flo. Okay, yeah. So that is before the reseeding, but yeah, man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a battle. I know both of us as drivers out on the track, man. We're gonna be looking for every point we possibly can get, and you're gonna be watching those bubble drivers that don't have any points along with you with Checkmate and go with the Flow where they're at. In accordance to where you're at on the track, so it's gonna be fun.
Well, that's gonna be part of the fun tonight, man, with tonight's drama, because tonight is the first round for these guys. So
yeah, we're starting the first round for Sunday, and I mean it's gonna be a blast. Can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great.
I'm too stoked.
Yeah, and speaking of Sunday, we talked a little bit about Wednesday. We're gonna shift gears here. I want to talk more about Wednesday, but we're gonna probably do that on another cast. As we move along here, but we've already taken up enough time, and I want to get to some more important things that we need to need to discuss, especially regarding the Sunday night race tonight and what we're planning for tonight, which I think is incredible. And it's
As a matter of fact, yeah, let's go right into that because I know we have to.
Well, I'm looking at the points
sure
here for Sunday. So we're going into the playoffs here, and honestly, man, Sunday's tight. Sunday is very tight. We have a lot of drivers with playoff points. Out of the top 13, because we allowed 13 in, because actually me and Larson tied, so we have that extra playoff driver in this series. So you have only 3 drivers without playoff points.
Mm-hmm.
So that's huge. There's a lot of guys with playoff points here. So, and we don't know what's going to happen tonight. Some of those drivers on the bottom could gain more points, and they're going to be seated in accordance to that. So, a good example would be, Mills. If Mills wins the race tonight and wins a couple stages, he's going to be in the top 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anything's going to happen. So, I mean, I'm looking at it here, and man, oh man, this is going to be tight.
This is tight. Nobody's got a commanding lead.
No, not at all.
In the Sunday series, like nobody is comfortable here. Our top playoff point guy right now would be RJ Smitty. He's got 16, right? Noko, you're right behind him with 15 point. Unfortunately, Trout with 11. He won't be making the race tonight. Really, really tightly stacked throughout this first round, so it's going to be something to watch.
Definitely.
Is this super secret? Do I need to leave?
No,
no, sir.
This actually, Dave, glad you joined us. We're just we're doing our round table, and I'm glad you can sit here at the table with us now. Finally, we're discussing Sunday playoffs.
No swearing, please.
We're discussing Sunday playoffs here, and you've missed most of it, but we're going to touch on another subject after this that I really want you to be a part of, and I want you to give your thoughts to the viewers and everybody out in YouTube land on what we're talking about here. And I know we definitely feel for him, but we're talking playoffs here, Puddin'. First round, we're about to start it tonight. Sunday, default playoffs. What's your thoughts?
Intensity. Right off of the rip. A lot of defense will be played tonight. A lot of these guys know where they are in points, so they're going to see who's behind them. Try to play defense to keep ahead of them. Overdriving. If the people that are in front of them, they need to pass for points, we might see some passing or overdriving of the cars. So just as it all, we'll just group it into one word: intensity.
Definitely. I have to agree with you, man. It's going to be intense. First round, I mean, we're obviously, the Sunday's the race that's the furthest behind because everybody else has already done their first round of the playoffs. Sunday, we are doing our first round now. So this is going to be the series that ends. Like, this will be the last series that'll be racing. Everybody else will be done, and we will be racing our final race, after
we saw it last
finished.
night real quick, too, how much the points mean to everybody, and because of a couple lag issues, a couple other people getting up there, Robbie had a phone call to take, so his family came first, so I know he was sitting there biting his nails. But last night was super intense on who was going to make it in with the Xfinity. Like you said, they're starting with the Cup and everything, but last night for Xfinity was super intense after Darlington and Martinsville with everybody in and out. D. Smith lagged out of one, but not the other. Robbie ended up pulling out, which was kind of uncharacteristic. No pit, and Woodruff were looking good last night, obviously, Jake. So last night was, if that's a sign of thing to come with the Cup drivers, it's going to be great, guys.
I have to agree with you. Mills, Robbie, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts going into the first round? I know, Mills, you're going to be out there with me competing, so I definitely want to hear what you have to say. Robbie, what do you think, man?
I don't know what to say because every time I see you guys race, it's just like awesome to watch, and it's unpredictable, it's intense, and even I sit there and I'm going, come on, get a move on, Noko, or come on, get a move on, Wicked, let's go, let's go.
Winner, chicken dinner.
That's the one. And sorry to cut you off earlier, Noko. I just Puddin came into the chat, and I just wanted to make sure like he doesn't do any cursing or slip up, because we all know Puddin can be clumsy. He can be clumsy.
Oh yeah,
we love you, Puddin.
Yeah,
hey, you guys can call me Clumsy Puddin instead of that other name. That works out just as well.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, over to you, Mills. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Cup guys have got for us.
Before you say anything, Mills, I just want to give a shout out, Roofer, on the comments. He said, "Thanks for having me in the booth, guys. The sun was getting fussy. Great, ready for a nap. Great podcast. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having you in here, buddy, and giving us your view and your insights on everything and your opinion. It always matters. But go ahead, Mills. What do you think?"
I have one thing that I need to accomplish, I feel, going into tonight's race, and that's stay in front of you.
Gateway is one of my best tracks, so it's going to be fun. Get your popcorn ready.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. But honestly, that's the true way I feel about it. If I can stay up running with you, Noko, and RJ Smitty, I feel like that's going to be enough to get through to the Final Four this series, and it's definitely a tall order.
Well, I know you got the
only think I ever beat you once at ISM. I think that was the only time I actually managed to get you. That was a custom series, so I don't know. We'll see what happens with the sliders tonight.
Well, you got the talent, man, that's for sure. And I know Jake probably feels the same way, because me and him have gone toe-to-toe in 4 races, and he's only been able to win 1 out of the 4. Mm-hmm. So, you're a great driver. I definitely have a lot of respect for you on the track and off the track as well. You're one of my good friends, and dude, you'll be fine. I mean, run a clean race like you always do. Do what you've always been doing. Don't deviate from what you do. I mean, you'll be fine. I think you'll be just fine.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, it's anybody's race at this point. Where it's a clean slate. The only thing that's separating anybody at this point is playoff points. That body of work that you put into the entire season of winning those stages, getting those race wins, leading those laps, all that hard work is being paid back to you in dividends, with the playoff points. So it's going to give some guys a little bit, an easier pass maybe to get to the Final Four. But when I say easy, don't misinterpret when I say easy. Easy meaning, okay, so I have 15 points on you. You have to gain 15 positions on the track just to equal what I have right now in points. So, obviously, you have 2 bad stages. That points gap evaporates. It's gone. So, you have to stay on your game. You can't get comfortable at any point in time during any race. You can't think that, okay, well, I can kind of just ride this out and, do the bare minimum to get by because I have such a good gap. There's no way that's going to happen. You have to do what you've done all season long. You have to stay consistent. You have to be smart, and most importantly, you have to not give up.
Well, that's the thing. Even if you have that gap and you start playing it safe, that gap is going to dwindle, and then you put yourself in that danger zone. So building up as big a gap as possible is really key here.
Definitely. Oh, absolutely.
And I'm excited to watch tonight, man. I'm excited that you're not first in points and somebody's actually giving you a run for your money this time.
Well, to be fair, I did miss the first 4 weeks of the season, so, just to be fair, I'm just putting that out there,
Let's get more handicaps next season. Let's start
at
5
Wednesday at 10 points a night.
But it's going to be fun, guys. I can't wait. I mean, it's always fun on the track with you guys. I'm so blessed and thankful to be here. I know Teddy's a good guy, and he's the reason why I'm here, and I'm here to stay. And looking at it, let's preview the races. Like, who's your picks, guys? Well, let's do it now before the broadcast.
Oh, Mr. Popcorn Eater, I'm gonna sit back and just pick you for the win tonight, at least in one of the tracks.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Noko for WWT, and you know what? I'm picking RJ for Vegas.
Okay, those are good picks. What about you, Puddin'? Who are you picking for Gateway and Las Vegas tonight? We got a good field.
You just said that Gateway was one of your best tracks, right? So go RJ Smitty. He's been looking strong all year, and you are obviously, everybody starts calling you the Intimidator with that black number 1 you drive. But RJ, I know you have seen a lot of him in your rearview mirror at pretty close range. So I know you just said that Gateway is one of your best tracks, but I'm going to go with RJ there. And the second track, 1.5 miles, strategy is going to come into play, a little bit of drafting and stuff. I'm going to pull a rabbit out of the hat and say RJ again. RJ for the double.
All right.
All right. Okay, there you go. That's pretty good. What about you, Robbie? What do you think? Pick winners tonight.
Wicked Gatekeeper on both races. No offence, boss, but I reckon he's going to start pulling some podium positions here during the playoffs.
It's a solid pick. Wicked's definitely one of those sneaky drivers, like we talked about with Trey. He's always been in the mix, and he's already got himself a few wins down the stretch that has really, it's really gave him momentum. He actually won last week at Darlington right before the season's, right before the playoffs started. So he definitely has the momentum. It's gonna be fun to see. My picks, honestly, man. Oh man, I don't know.
Are you allowed to be vain?
Yeah, are you allowed to pick yourself?
I won't let him. I've told him he's not allowed.
I'm not going to pick myself.
All right.
At Gateway, I think Mills can win at Gateway, and at Vegas, I don't think Gateway's going to play out like we think it's going to play out. I think it's going to be a fuel strategy race. I think it's going to be a tire strategy race. Everybody's going to be fairly even. Vegas, Taddy's been strong at Vegas. He was strong in the custom at Vegas. Oof. I'm going to pick Taddy for Vegas, guys. I think it's going to be Mills and Taddy.
Yeah, you know what? If I could switch one pick, I would switch Taddy in at Gateway. Just running with him on Wednesday, a really strong car. Something happened with him, and I think checkmate towards the end of the race that took him out of contention. But yeah, he was strong on Wednesday, so look for more of the same tonight.
So we got a couple guys putting picks in the cast. Looks like Roofer says Noko at Gateway, Taddy at Vegas. Shadow Grim says Noko sweep, and then Roofer says right Grim, Noko's tough to beat. He works so hard. Don't count Mills out or Wicked either. So it's gonna be tough, man. You guys are absolutely right. So it's anybody's race at this point. We're starting the playoffs. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be tight racing. Pressure's gonna be on, and really, I think the storyline throughout the whole night's going to be the bubble drivers and where they're going to be at during the race, because we have 3 drivers that don't have playoff points, which is the fewest out of any series. So the points are tight. The racing's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a good showing tonight.
Well, before we move on from there, Puddin, are you sure with your picks? Because Noko spilt the beans earlier. Noko, if you just want to remind everybody what's going on next season between Noko and Shin Motorsports.
So Shin Motorsports is actually a satellite affiliate of Noko Racing.
I'm glad that at least I picked up the phone for Rick Hendrick Jr. then.
There you go. Yeah, so I'm going to be working closely with Robbie in his first season as captain. I'm going to guide him and help him with his drivers and do whatever I can. Of course, I'll help anybody. Anyone that asks me or PMs me, I do what I can to help anybody. And that's not going to change.
Not to cut anybody off, but
go ahead.
I know we're on such a high note, but we really have to talk about the important event and how we're going to do this special event tonight for one of our.
Yeah, we were about to. I was going to roll right into that right now. I'm going to be working closely with Robbie in his first season as captain. I'm going to help guide him and help him throughout the whole experience as being a captain. I know Robbie's a class act, and he's definitely a great leader, and he's shown this potential. I'm just going to be there to help him. It's just like adding a little bit of spice to your steak. Not much, just a little. But yeah, absolutely. We're going to get to tonight. So we have one of our own, and he's my driver, and he's a good friend of mine. Adam Troutman was involved in a terrible crash on December 27th. And the details were released. It was all put on Facebook, and the crash was so severe that he could have lost his life, and he ended up losing a good portion of his left leg. So, and he's been a trooper through all this. He's a fighter, and I just feel for him with the situation he's going through, and this is the reason why he's been absent the last couple of weeks, and he's going to have 4 more surgeries coming up. There's a GoFundMe account already set up for him, and in one day it's already raised $2,000 for him. So
wow.
I definitely
want to definitely shout out everyone that has donated to his cause and to help him recover. I don't know, man. I was speechless when I found out about it, because I'm not gonna lie, I was actually upset because I hadn't seen Trout in a while, so I didn't know what was going on. And then after I heard the news, I felt like total crap, because me being selfishly upset that he was missing. I totally missed the point that life can happen, and life happened for him, much like it does for everybody else. But for tonight, we're doing a 3-wide salute in his honor, and everyone's going to be piloting that 37 car that he drives, with the lead car being the 18 car, his favorite driver. And we're going to have a moment of silence throughout the whole event. It's going to be a separate event from the races tonight, and I just look forward to it. We have a bunch of drivers that are going to take part in the 3-wide salute, so it's definitely going to be something to watch. It's moving talking about it. I mean, just discussing it right now. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, but
it chokes you up a little bit.
It's not just giggity drivers either, is it? It's drivers from all sorts of leagues. I believe that Troutman.
Yes.
He's a people person.
He is. He's a journeyman.
Everywhere.
He's a journeyman, much like myself. And me and him are both in a couple leagues together. And there's going to be a lot of other drivers, notable drivers like Fluffy is going to be in the salute with us tonight, and there's going to be several others. But I mean, the tragedy that Trout's facing is it's very severe. And like I said, I don't want to downplay what anybody else has gone through in their life, but to lose one of your limbs, that's a life-changing moment.
To see everything, I don't know why, but it seems like the holidays are the happiest time of the year, but sometimes it's the reverse. And not a lot, but quite a few giggity drivers have had some not good situations happen over the last couple of weeks. And everybody in Giggity has stepped up and supported one another. And we say it all the time in the broadcast. It's not just a lifestyle. It's not a bunch of friends. It's a family.
I totally
Money
agree
Mike
with
said
you
it
on
last
that.
night. Money Mike said it last night. I like what he started to do. Hashtag @DoItForATrout. That was awesome. But yeah, it's a family. It's not just a lifestyle. So thank you to everybody out there listening that's done everybody that helped everybody else out there. Thank you guys for your support for everybody else. And yes, Trout, I'm only a couple hours away from you, man. Who's not to say that you might get a rare appearance from the old put and get an autograph? Everybody wants one of those, right?
Yeah, I think we should mention, it's not all doom and gloom, everybody. Trout is on the up. He's awake. He's eating. He's taking selfies. It could be so much worse. Definitely feel for him. So sad. He's obviously not going to be on the track tonight. Speedy recovery, man. Miss chasing after you. Definitely know your rear bumper better than your front. So,
he's definitely been a driving force that's been missed on the track. I mean, I definitely have noticed with him not on the track. It's definitely noticeable. Him not there, and just touching on that, he's very lucky and blessed to be alive. With a terrible crash like that and hitting a tree head on the speed must have been fast enough to, and he's in a full-size Tundra, so it's a big truck, and those are safe vehicles. And for him to come out with injuries like that, it was severe. I definitely don't want this downplayed at all, and he's very lucky and blessed to be alive, and we're just so thankful he is okay. And he was put in a medically induced coma, and he has already undergone, I think, 3 or 4 operations. He has 3 or 4 more left. But Trout, we're definitely praying for you, man. And tonight, like I said, we're doing the salute, and I myself, for the Sunday races, I will no longer be driving the 1 car. I'm going to be driving the 37 for the rest of the season.
Respect.
Well, that's the thing that we can always point out here at Giggity. I mean, you can hear it in the broadcast from the last Cup race. You can hear it in my voice. You can hear it in Puddin's. Sitting here supporting the fellow drivers that we have, no matter how big or how small it is it just the respect that we have for each other, and the fact that we bring so much back to the drivers that put in time for us is just, It's appreciated, and we really hope
you're
for
absolutely
quick
right.
recovery.
And there was the article was posted on Facebook, and they mentioned that when the doctor told him his leg had to be amputated because it was too mangled to fix, he said, "Let's do this." And that's always been Trout. He's always been very positive. He's a fighter, man. And the guy has always been a fighter. And we didn't always start out on the best terms. When I met Trout, me and him were enemies. We weren't friends. And our relationship developed slowly through Giggity, and we became great friends. And I've known him before Giggity, and he's the heck of a competitor, and I'm definitely blessed to have him on the team, and I'm glad he's okay. And I know he's going to bounce back and be better than ever through all this, and I can't wait for him to come back. It's going to be awesome. And I know his other captain from last season, RKM, I'm not sure if RKM's going to be doing it or Taddy. Someone's going to be running the 18 car for the rest of the season for him as well.
RKM.
Yeah,
RKM's going to be running it. He was a Canuck. He was the banner carrier for Canuck last season. He really was.
He was. He's a heck of a driver, man. Trout, if you watch this, buddy, we all miss you on the track, man. We all wish you a speedy recovery, and whatever donations we can do for you to help you. I mean, it's all for you, man. And we hope the best for you. I know you're going to be out of work, and we're just glad you're alive. Honestly, with a terrible accident like that, money can be replaced, but lives can't. So, just thankful that you're alive. Yeah, I mean, he's been very positive. I mean, I looked at the post, and he's smiling in the hospital bed, and I mean, I'm still shocked. I mean, I heard about all this yesterday, but I'm still shocked today. Even that he's in the hospital, and the situation that happened. It's just, that's life, though. Things can happen like that. I could leave this chat right now, get in my car and drive down the road and get in a terrible accident, and if I never come back into the chats, you guys wouldn't know what would happen to me.
And I've reiterated that to my wife a lot and a lot of my friends. You don't know what's going to happen to you. You got to treat every day with a blessing. You could walk out, step off a curb, and break an ankle, or you could come home safely. You don't know the future. No one can predict the future. And that's why, no matter how many times I've been upset with a bunch of my great friends or even my wife, I never go to bed without at least telling her I love her, or hey, you know what, we'll work this out, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And
no, we don't.
If my wife drives an hour to work back through country roads, if something were to happen to her and we were fighting and I did tell her I loved her, I would have to live with that for the rest of my life, So that's, it's very, like you said, you don't know no one can predict the future.
You can't. You really can't. And it's, you got to live day by day, minute by minute, and just appreciate what you have and be thankful for everything,
In the words of Mrs. Puddin', I think she put it best. I think that's why I am who I am. She said, the world is your playground. And I loved how she said that, because, again, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I'm a smiley guy. When it comes to horror movies, I don't like them. I'd rather watch a comedy. I always want to smile,
Right.
And I loved how she said that, how the world is your playground, and I never thought of it like that. I just go out, have fun, do the best I can, be the best person I can be, and at the end of the day, I'm blessed just like everybody else out there. But I loved how she said that. So maybe that's something for you guys, not from me, but from my wife, Mrs. Puddin' out there. World's your playground. Go have fun. Enjoy it while you can, babe.
You're absolutely right. I'm looking at the comments here, and we're getting a lot of hashtags. Hashtag do it for Trout. Shadow Grim says Taddy missed fishing for trout. And then, Roofer says he's really positive and making best of a tough situation. And that's what it's all about. It's, you gotta, when you get lemons, man, you gotta make lemonade out of it. That's just how it is. You can't let it get you down, and you gotta just think positive even in a bad situation, no matter what. And Trout's definitely doing that, and so he's always been like that, and I'm just glad he's okay. And tonight's going to be awesome. I can't wait to do this for him. And I mean, all these tributes have been really awesome. It's been, like I mentioned in I think it was an interview a week or two ago. I like winning, especially the tribute races, because they mean more, because you want to do that. And of course, when the tribute's for you or something else, of course, you want to be that driver that wins it. But
there's always a somber level of respect there when you win that race because of what is going on in a person's life, and you want to see that the person in the race that is having that moment, you want them to do good as well. So, definitely a feel-good moment. All doom and gloom, but with Trout, he's going to pull through. We'll see him back here soon. I know he's going to be in the hospital for about 3 or 4 weeks, they said. And, we don't know when he'll be back. He might not be back for Season 2 right away, but at some point in the season, I know he'll be back, and I know my team's going to welcome him back with open arms, and he's going to have his car, just like he would have been, like he never left.
Just for Trout, sorry mate, Trout, I'd just like to say, playing some NASCAR, drinking some. Oh wait, I ain't got myself any beer. Damn.
I really appreciate you guys coming together for this and for everybody.
Any final thoughts, guys? I mean, I felt like it was pretty successful tonight, talking about everything at the round table. I mean, we discussed everything from sponsorships to playoffs, everything in between. We touched on A-Trout. I can't wait for that tonight. Any final thoughts, guys, before we close it up?
First and foremost, I just want to apologize for jumping in. Didn't realize what was going on, so I'm glad I didn't come in with some kind of flair. But I apologize. Thanks for having me here. Good luck tonight, Noko. Good luck to all of our competitors. And Arch, Robbie, can't wait to be in the. I can't wait to be in the booth with you and do it for A-Trout.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Anything from you guys before we go?
Yeah, another thing I'd like to touch on. Another thing I'd like to touch on. Sorry, I was just in a race, still in it now. Is that we're going to be doing a lot of artwork during the 2020 season. So if you see any artwork you do like, don't be afraid to come along and say to Giggity, how are you guys doing your artwork and stuff like that. I mean. And if you want any artwork done for yourself, any drivers in Giggity Racing League, just come and give us a shout and we'll see what we can pull up for you.
I want you to say Giggity again.
Giggity. Giggity boogity boogity. Giggity giggity.
That's how it goes. Anything else from you guys, man? I mean, I'm pretty sure we did pretty good coverage today, and I'm really happy with this, and I want us to continue this, and I promise you guys I'm going to keep putting this up here so we can get as much coverage and exposure as possible.
I think it was really good. I'm going to really like these stints. I enjoyed being in here. If you guys are going to have me in here full time, I don't mind doing it at all.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming.
It's going to be up to the viewers if they want me in here. I definitely want to see a vote on what they liked, and we're definitely going to have other drivers in here as well. We're going to cycle people in and get interviews and stuff with race winners, and I like to do stuff like that, and we're definitely going to break down the races, and I definitely want to do kind of like we'll do like a look back at the week before, and then we're going to preview everything for the week ahead. So,
of all things too, Noko, I've been in the booth with everybody except for you. So hopefully here in the near future, I'd love to be more able to commentate a race with the one and only himself, Mr. Noko. That's the only person I don't think I did. I the other night.
It, man. I love doing the booth. I like bringing the energy. I like breaking the race down because as a driver, you can give viewers and stuff a different feel of what they're watching because you're out on the track. You know how this goes. You know where your marks are. You know how to explain things even better than some other guys could. So having that extra knowledge really helps in the booth, and I just like bringing that energy and stuff into it. I think I do a pretty good job with it, and I really enjoy it.
Well,
I'd like to say, I'd love to be with you, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got some drivers in here that have to prepare for tonight's race, and I definitely want Noko to go get some track time and stuff like that. So, best of luck to you, Noko. Best of luck to Mills, and thanks to all you guys for coming on today and really making this successful and for being supportive and making sure that we put it out here for Trout. And like I said tonight, man, hashtag do it for Trout. It's going to be a big race. Somber hearts, a lot of emotions at some very fun tracks. So hopefully Trout gets to sit down and gets to check out the action. I know it's going to hurt him to not be in these races, but you will be thought about the whole time this race is going on, buddy. And can't wait to see you back on the track.
I just want to say, Noko, to you, buddy, I am so looking forward to the next couple weeks racing with you. but it's on like freaking Donkey Kong, man.
That's right, man. I'm ready. I'll be ready.
When you say stuff like that, I committed to doing the Sunday, Wednesday Cup broadcasts, and I'm not going to have my popcorn ready. I'm going to have my adult beverages ready, and I'm going to keep walking back and forth, pacing like I normally do. I tell you guys all the time how excited you guys are on the track. So, good luck to both of you guys tonight. Good luck to all of our competitors. This is going to be intense.
Definitely. And like we said, with the playoffs, you have to shift into that extra gear. You have to pull whatever you have inside of you and just throw it all on the table and drive like you've never driven before. And I believe we're going to see a lot of that tonight and in the coming weeks. But this was fun today, guys. I appreciate you having me, and we'll wrap it up here. # do it for Trout tonight. That's going to be the theme. And good luck to his recovery, and I'll see you guys all on the track.
10-4, man.
All
Thanks,
right,
guys.
definitely, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're going to wrap it down. This is one and only Archangel Cloud bringing you all these great drivers and great opinions, and let's see how we can keep this going. I appreciate everybody for stopping in, views, all the comments we had. We had over 120 comments today just for this. I know it was a really long segment we had. The first round table is normally going to be because we're trying to get through so much, and we've had a lot to catch up on with the holiday season and stuff like that. But we really appreciate the support from all the viewers, the friends, the fans, the drivers, and I can't wait to bring you another good show next week. So you guys have a good one. Tune in for that cup race coming on tonight, and let's see if Noko can continue his dominance or somebody can knock him off the top.